A university is more than just a place. It's people and their dream of a better future. At UNO, it's access to exceptional education and opportunities. Our maverick spirit drives who we become. It's our voice to the world. We are Mavericks. We look at challenges in a different way, do things people said could never be done. We lead, build, innovate, protect, teach. Be exceptional. Achieve exceptional. Access to exceptional.
I'm Chuck Hagel, former United States Senator from Nebraska, former Secretary of Defense, but most important, I'm a UNO graduate, graduating class of 1971. And I want to add my welcome and say hello and make a couple of comments about this great university. I know Chancellor Gold is going to say a few things here later and give a report on the status in University of Nebraska in Omaha and what's been happening the last year, pretty much a chancellor's report. So I was pleased and I appreciated very much the privilege that Chancellor Gold gave me to say a few words, and I start with admire Chancellor Gold very much for what he's done, and all of the UNO community, all the professors, everybody who's had anything to do with making UNO each year a better and stronger institution, more and more respected throughout the country, throughout the world, with all of the endeavors going on this campus is pretty remarkable. There's so much to be thankful for. We in the UNO community know that, but every now and then it's good to take a little inventory and recognize what's happened the year before and what's going ahead. Where are we going? Is it something to look forward to? And I think we've got an awful lot to look forward to. You know, just one example of one of the things that we've been able to do this year, even with COVID-19 and all of the frustrations and all the issues and concerns and consequences that's brought, and still is part of our everyday life, but we'll get out of it. We were still able to do some tremendous things. And one of those examples is bringing former United States Senator and former Secretary of State John Kerry to the campus in February, where he was the featured speaker at the Hagel Forum. And my old friend John Kerry did a great job. Big audience, sellout audience. We had people from the community from all over the state. We had professors, we had teachers from different schools, students, the press. All the people came out right here at UNO to listen to John Kerry and what he had to say. And his message was very positive about, first of all, what's ahead, our future. And I think that was very important for our students and our young people to hear that we have an unlimited future, unlimited, with all the problems we've got today, with all the problems we've had in the past. But we've adapted, we've adjusted, we've made it better. It's kind of the story of the University of Nebraska in Omaha's history, that maverick history over more than 100 years. Adapt, adjust, make it better, and keep going forward. And I think that was very much the message that John Kerry gave in his conversation about, yes, his experience, the world, the places that he's been, the leaders he's met, and the great leadership he's given to this country. But my dear friend Chancellor Gold is going to talk more and more about that. But on another front, we've got a record-breaking year. I mean, a record-breaking number of new students attending UNO, and even during the COVID-19 adjustments in the virtual classes, students have hung in there, professors have hung in there. And it's a real testament to our community and to this university's leadership. I couldn't be more proud of what's been accomplished here. And so I just want to say again, I appreciate the fact that I've been given an opportunity to say hello to all of you and to wish you well, tell you how proud I am of all of you, of this institution, especially being a graduate. My brother Tom graduated 2 years behind me is now a judge in Ohio. So he's done pretty well with his life. But he gives a lot of credit to UNO, how he started and where he started, and that foundation that was laid for my brother Tom. And so many hundreds and hundreds, thousands of other UNO students have those same stories that my brother Tom has, that I have. So with that, thank you. Best wishes for your future. Great future ahead of us. And so I'm anxious to see what's on Chancellor Gold's mind and what he wants to talk about as he gives his report, and thank all of the UNO community for their great work and their commitment to this tremendous institution.
Thank you, Secretary Hagel. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the Fall 2020 State of the University Address. President Carter, members of the Board of Regents, faculty, staff, students, and members of the Omaha community, thank you so very much for being with us. It is my pleasure to report to you today that the state of the University of Nebraska at Omaha is strong, maverick strong. If you pull back the curtain of history, you'll quickly find that mavericks have a unique, innate ability to respond, adapt, and grow through unique challenges, the challenges of their time. Going back to 1920, 100 years ago today, the annual Gateway University of Omaha yearbook captured so well the hopes, dreams, and the ambitions of a young institution, then barely 10 years of age. The Gateway of 1920 proffered that, and I quote, "Already a first-class modern college, though yet comparatively small, the university shows promise of developing and growing into one of the best educational institutions of the Midwest, a credit and a boost for Omaha. Her plan and main purpose has always been to prepare men and women for an active part in the development of our great democracy, to turn out trained individuals and serviceable brains and bodies, and no effect has ever been spared to accomplish this end," unquote. They go on to write, and again quoting, "Looking into the future, say a dozen years ahead, we see an enlarged university with a highly trained faculty and student body, an institution turning out men and women who are successful in their various pursuits of life. We see a university which is a credit not only to Omaha, but to Nebraska and to the United States, as well as an institution which attracts students from all parts of the globe. Just as truly we now see Omaha as the gate city of the West, do we see the University of Omaha as a true gateway to our knowledge of the future," end quote. It's important to recall that at the time of the drafting, editing, and publishing of the 1920 Gateway, the yearbook staff were living through a world of the worst post-First World War era, a significant economic downturn, and of course the impact of the Spanish flu pandemic, all at the same time. In addition, the 19th Constitutional Amendment, giving women the right to vote, had just become law less than a year previously, and the upcoming presidential election of 1920 was regarded as, I quote, "the most critical presidential election in American history," unquote. As these individuals had no doubt experienced great worry, hardship, and loss in their young lives, and still, 100 years later, their optimism radiates from the page as their clarity of vision inspires us all. And 100 years later, ladies and gentlemen, I agree with them. The state of the university is strong, or as I like to say, maverick strong. Today, in our own time of worry, hardship, uncertainty, and loss, the University of Nebraska at Omaha is truly an inspiration to many, a beacon of hope and a source of optimism in our community, in our state, and across the nation. We engage students from around the globe. Year after year, we produce thousands of maverick graduates who go on to have a positive impact on society. As the city of Omaha grows and evolves, we remain at its heartbeat, playing a crucial role in driving it forward into the future. We are, without a doubt or hesitation, a gateway to knowledge. For these reasons, I'm proud to report to you, and in the tradition of the mavericks of a century ago, that indeed the state of the university is strong. The Mavericks of old envisioned a university that was deeply ingrained in this city culture and inextricably linked to its success. Today, we know that that is true. But what do we mean when we say that Omaha is our campus? First, as Nebraska's metropolitan university and a premier member of the Coalition of Urban and Metropolitan Universities, experiential learning and community engagement is at the core of everything we do as students, as faculty, and as staff. Simply put, we serve our community, we serve Omaha, and in so doing we serve the state, the nation, and are a shining example of the Maverick culture for a truly global community and across the world. At the very same time, our community, our highly interwoven campus, provides the richness of the stage, the setting, and in so many ways, the opportunity for growth, for our success, and indeed for building our future. When we seek out opportunities to help this community grow and thrive, we find opportunities to teach, conduct research, and to learn. As we commit to this community's success, we're also committing to our own success. Sir Patrick Geddes, the British sociologist and the founder of the famed Scots College, said in 1915, "Think globally, act locally," quote unquote. So let's explore what this looks like in action here at UNO. This spring, the country, the state, and our community were hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic and its economic fallout, its social isolation, and the unprecedented uncertainty. Members of the Omaha community and our campus community lost and continue to lose loved ones. We witnessed friends and family members lose income, lose homes, and lose their hope. We as an institution made the painful decision to eliminate positions in order to uphold our academic mission. Education abroad plans were put on hold, internships were canceled, planned academic travel was postponed. Employment prospects for our graduates became uncertainty, and the very viability of our academic mission was questioned. Hundreds of thousands of lives were disrupted, but we owed it to ourselves and as to Omaha to make sure that the dreams and aspirations of our community and our great university remained on track. So what did we do? We put pen to paper, shoulder to the wheel, and we planned and then delivered solutions. We created new incentives and scholarship programs that increased access and affordability for hundreds of new and existing students. We launched the Career Currency program that expanded professional horizons for employees of Omaha-based corporations such as Union Pacific, Mutual of Omaha, and soon to be many others. We worked diligently with local and regional community colleges to become a preferred transfer student destination. We also doubled down on our commitment to our student retention-focused services, such as the Academic and Career Development Center, and initiatives such as the UNO Completion Imperative. As universities in the region and across the country experienced significant decreases in enrollment and in retention, we achieved historic success. To call out just a few points, our total enrollment of nearly 16,000 students is the highest since 1992, supported by an incoming freshman class of more than 2,200 newly minted Mavericks. In the fall of 2020 incoming class are more than 1,600 first-generation students, over a 30% increase over last year. This year's graduate enrollment of 3,100 students is the largest in the history of our graduate school. In addition, there was nearly a 16% increase in new first-time freshman minority students, an 11% increase in undergraduate minority students, and just under a 19% increase in graduate minority students. We also retained more than 80% of all female, Hispanic, and Asian students from the fall of 2019's freshman class. Truly remarkable statistics, opening doors for many. To be sure, these students are much more than numbers on a spreadsheet. These are the doors that have been opened for lifelong achievement and for community success. This era of the Maverick, as I like to call it, the students who choose UNO as a place that they would sharpen their skill sets and plan for their future in the midst of a global pandemic and historic economic hardship, will go on to do great things for this community. They will be the entrepreneurial minds who will fuel innovation at businesses big and small across the city. They will be the teachers who will go on to teach in the Omaha metro area, where more than 50% of all teachers already hold at least one UNO degree. They will become the healthcare workers and the caregivers who will take care of what we learned during this time and promote a healthier, safer community. Our graduates will be the elected officials and the activists who will fight for change on behalf of the people they care so deeply for. They will be the scientists, programmers, and engineers who will provide cutting-edge solutions to the technological challenges that we face today and tomorrow. They will be the national security professionals, law enforcement, and military service members who dedicate their lives to protecting others. And they will be the artists, the musicians, the thinkers, who will add beauty, depth of meaning to our daily lives, and so much more. As you can see, teaching, learning, and working at the metropolitan institutions and welcoming new Mavericks into the fold is not just a means to its own end. For what we do at the University of Nebraska at Omaha truly makes a difference. It matters, it changes lives, and it happens right here in this community every day. To use just one example, this year, our very own Service Learning Academy launched a map documenting each one of the more than 400, repeated 400 service learning capstone courses that have taken place across the country in recent years. In addition to the 370 partners we so proudly support right here in Omaha, these partners are widely displayed across the map, showing dozens of community impact projects across the region and across the country. From San Diego to Seattle, from Boston to Tampa, and everywhere in between, Mavericks are leaving the places better as a result of their visit than when they found it. That is what it means when we say Omaha is our campus. That's what the Maverick spirit is. We make a difference where we are and when we grow as learners, researchers, and scholars in the process. During these last 6 months, we have been laser focused on our mission and growing our way through challenges that we sometimes forget to celebrate our achievements. I'd like now to take a few minutes and share some of those with you. From our Aviation Institute in the College of Public Affairs and Community Service, Becky Lutt was selected to serve on the newly formed Federal Aviation Administration Women in Aviation Advisory Board. From the College of Communication, Fine Arts and Media, the School of Music, and the Universidad Nacional de Música in Lima, Peru, set the stage for new educational opportunities in music by signing a memorandum of understanding to establish a relationship and lay a new foundation for future collaborations, educational programs, and student-faculty exchanges. The recently renamed College of Education, and now Health and Human Sciences, celebrated the completion of the privately funded $11 million biomechanics research building expansion, bringing 50,000 square feet of new research and learning space to our campus. One of the great achievements of the past can be found in the College of Business Administration, where Dr. Gina Ligon led the startup of the Department of Homeland Security's most recently designated Center of Excellence, the National Counterterrorism Innovation Technology and Education Center, through a 10-year, $36.5 million grant. Our College of Arts and Sciences launched exploratory studies to address historic low retention and graduation rates of what we used to call undecided students. This new program creates a learning community and an immediate, temporary academic home to identify and to support these students upon entering the UNO family. Supporting our state's need for bright minds in information technology, the College of Information Science and Technology launched 2 new graduate degrees, the Master of Science in Information Technology Innovation and the Master of Science in Data Science, a joint degree with the Department of Mathematics. In addition, The college's cybersecurity, undergraduate and graduate degrees have created completely online options for both of these new programs. And our successes don't end just there. We have successfully developed and implemented 6 campus-wide big ideas. These resulted from a highly organized competitive process that hundreds of members of the UNO family selected in key areas. These include transforming wellness and aging through business, informatics, and gerontology. Second, the Samuel Bach Institute. Third, security and intelligence studies. Fourth, the STEM Trail Center. Fifth, the Ted Kuzer Center for Health Humanities and Biomedical Rehabilitation and Manufacturing. Remarkable 6 big ideas. In terms of research funding, the Office of Research and Creative Activity has marked the highest ever in funded research for the community at $26 million from extramural grants and awards. But the impact of our research and discovery is also at an all-time high, as our reputation for excellence spreads widely. Our Community Engagement Center recently announced the addition of 4 new UNO building partners. They are the Interdisciplinary Behavioral Consultation Scholars Program, the Juvenile Justice Institute, the Nebraska Education Policy Lab, and the UNO Office of Sustainability, bringing the total number of building partners organized in the CEC to 32 partners. The UNO Global Engagement celebrated 40 years of friendship with Shizuoka University in Shizuoka, Japan. That has yielded countless exchange program opportunities, collaborative research, and new opportunities for scholarship. This year, our UNO alumni network grew to over 114,000 alumni, more than half of whom who live and work right here in the state of Nebraska. The University of Nebraska Foundation reported that UNO's dedicated philanthropic network helped raise more than $27 million for the university in 2019 through 2020. That represented more than 5,000 donors who made gifts that have benefited UNO, 58% of which came from our alumni, UNO graduates. As we all now know, our rapid, successful switch to online would have not been possible without information technology services. To provide some insight into exactly what that means, this group helped us facilitate a nearly 400% increase in VPN usage, an 80% decrease in response times at our help desk, and over 26 million Canvas page views, 27 million meeting minutes on Zoom, and more than 300,000 minutes of video recordings through VidGrid over the spring and summer semesters alone. A truly remarkable set of statistics that knitted our campus together. On a similar note, I'm so proud to report that our university communications team provided crucial communications support throughout and the university's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, which included the launch of the COVID-19 updates and the Fall Forward websites, production of preparedness checklists, instructional video modules, and promotional support for the OneCheck UNO application. Led by our Office of Health Security, our campus health and safety efforts amid the COVID-19 pandemic have resulted in a lower number of positive cases, one of the lowest across the country for a university campus of our size. We have taken a completely open and transparent posture in monitoring the impact of our COVID-related campus safety precautions, making adjustments frequently, and openly sharing the outcomes based on our singular North Star, which of course is the health and safety of our campus and the community that we serve. Our campus master planning and construction is also proceeding rapidly on schedule and on budget in every instance. Our biomechanics research extension was completed and is fully functional. Strauss Phase 1 was successfully completed and Phase 2 is actively underway. Our Mammal Hall extension is on schedule and on budget and will be completed in under a year. And our Arts and Sciences Hall renovation, Phase 1 and Phase 2 projects have already been completed and are fully operational. The new baseball softball complex is fully funded through private philanthropic sources and will be fully usable this upcoming spring when we will host the championships of the Summit League. And the Durham Science upgrades, several of which were completed, and many are more planned as we continue to raise private philanthropic dollars to support this critically important effort. In addition, over this last year, UNO has launched aggressive partnerships with more than 25 regional companies and other organizations to provide access to courses, degrees, and certificates as part of employee professional development. As we said earlier, this included initially Union Pacific and then Mutual of Omaha, and several others were recently announced. These partnerships and similar partnerships in the future will prove essential in our efforts to recruit and retain workforce in our community, on our campus, and at the same time to advance our UNO enrollment and retention efforts, a win-win effort for all. In addition to the 6 academic focus areas over the last year, there have been countless other points of pride, which include Maverick athletics. Our student athletes played hard and successfully completed, including championships in baseball and finalist levels in other sports. In the spring semester, amid all of the challenges presented by the pandemic, Omaha Athletics posted its highest all-student athlete grade point average. We successfully recruited several new coaches and built programs and systems to have our student athletes return to campus to pursue their academic journey and their athletic excellence. And we remain very optimistic about our winter sports, including being the national host of the NCHC, the National Collegiate Hockey Conference pod opening series that will occur here in early December. More to come on this very soon. From a fiscal perspective, UNO continues to strengthen. Tuition assistance programs have increased access for our learners, but we have had a significant return on investment, including Nebraska Promise. Finished last year just slightly more than 1% ahead, we are now 3% ahead in revenue this fall, 5% down and 16% up on online tuition. Truly amazing. Days of cash reserve, a metric of stability, have gone from a low of 6.8 days in the middle of 2016 to 90 days of cash reserves in 2019 and to 112 at the end of the first quarter of this year. And UNO workforce over this same time period has increased by over 72 members of the Maverick family, over 3/4 of which are in the front lines of our academic mission, and only 10 in business and finance, facilities, and environmental services. I do hope that everybody takes an opportunity to celebrate your own personal achievements and your professional successes from this past year. Celebrate them with your colleagues, your friends, and your loved ones. We have done so much against great odds to make this year one truly worth celebrating. I hope that you'll also take time to review all of the UNO Points of Pride publication, which is updated this year and barely touches the treetops of the achievements, the mileposts of our journey to true excellence over the past year on our UNO campuses. But with all that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot rest on our laurels. Our community continues to struggle with many aspects of the pandemic. Disease transmission of this novel virus is difficult to control, and as we make efforts to establish the new normal, the loss of jobs, the closure of businesses, the economic drain, as well as the incredible and enduring social isolation that has been nothing short of devastating to all of us. I'm incredibly proud of the UNO community for working hard to carefully prepare for these uncertainties, to share clear messaging, and to redouble all of our efforts to support those who are hurting, comfort those with great loss, and yet continue to build our future together. I've personally spoken with students, their families, faculty, and staff who've been directly impacted by COVID, members of the Maverick family who have lost loved ones, lost their homes, struggled to put food on the table, and most significantly, have truly lost their stamina, their pride, their hope, and have lost their spirit. I have met with countless first responders, healthcare professionals, and other essential frontline workers who are themselves impacted by this pandemic, but hold fast to their commitment to our community for over long hours and endless personal and family sacrifice. We also need to realize that even as we deal with the reality of the pandemic and all of the existential short and long-term consequences, the members of our community continue to struggle for yet other reasons. The recently reported deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and so many other members of our marginalized communities have reopened wounds that have existed in our country and in our communities for truly centuries. Even with all of the progress that has been made, those wounds have never truly had a chance to heal due to systemic injustices that are rooted in hate, racism, bigotry, bias, and prejudice. I know, and you know, that we as individuals, and even as a university campus, cannot right many of these generations' wrongs. What we can do, and what we must do, is to be the change we want to see, and to make a difference that we know that we can be. As a great public metropolitan university, we have an obligation to work hard to understand this history and the implications of these current events, and to exemplify our core values. These must be more than words on paper, but a vibrant culture that abhors all aspects of hate, bigotry, and prejudice. We see this through the dozens of listening sessions led by our students, faculty, and staff in remote settings, all the TEDx Salon series, new committees and task forces that have taken up this cause, and hundreds of mavericks who courageously speak out against injustice wherever they witness it. This year, the newly created Office of Diversity, Equity, Access, and Inclusion was a pivotal step to make this a more compassionate, understanding, and active, supported university community. We do our part to help the city of Omaha thrive. It starts with ensuring that our students, our faculty, and our staff are supported and cared for. I am also proud to announce the addition of a focus on excellence in diversity, equity, inclusion, and access, a big focus that truly reflects our mission and our values as a public metropolitan university. I truly believe that if we commit to each other's success in this space, we can be the institution that our students envisioned 100 years ago, and that we can be an asset not only to Omaha, but to the entire state of Nebraska, the nation, and around the world. So in closing today, I am reminded and inspired by the words of President Abraham Lincoln, who repeated many times that, I quote, "The only way to truly see the future is to create it," unquote. Our UNO family has proven him correct over and over during the past 100 years, and particularly so over our last year. More than ever, it is our opportunity, even more so our responsibility, to create the future, and in so doing serve as the beacon for public metropolitan higher education, for a proud anchor institution for our community. Paraphrasing again from the 1920 Gateway University Yearbook, and I quote, "Looking into the future, we see an enlarged university with a highly respected faculty, staff, and student body. We see an institution turning out fully prepared graduates, high-impact research, and truly relevant community services, all of which are successful in their various pursuits of equality of the human condition. We see the university, which is a credit not only to Omaha, but to Nebraska and to the entire United States, as well as an institution that attracts and welcomes to all of our community those from other parts of the globe," end quote. I will not be so bold today as to predict the future for the next 100 years, like the Gateway editors of 100 years ago tried to do. So I'll do my next best thing, given our place in a rapidly changing world, and look forward for our campus and for our university system to the next several years that lay ahead. I do believe that by next year's State of the University address, we'll be celebrating more enrollment and more retention success. The completion imperative will thrive across this campus and be a beacon for many, many students and their families. We'll be reporting the successes of the latest actions to promote diversity, equity, access, and inclusion with meaningful outcomes as we preserve and strengthen our truly welcoming culture. I predict that we'll continue to celebrate a growing number of corporate and community partners across businesses, foundations, across higher education, as well as across our sister campuses. And if we do our part to care for each other's health and well-being, or put differently, if we accept the moral and ethical responsibility for the health and wellness of our community, I truly will believe that we will celebrate these achievements together in person. Thank you. Thank you for your time, talents, and passion that you bring to everything that you do. We are a university of beautiful campuses and facilities, relevant, forward-leaning programs, and partnerships, but most of all, of talented, committed, and caring people, otherwise known as the Maverick family. I look forward to many years of achievement on this campus and at UNO, and the fulfillment of our mission. I've never been more proud, more humbled, and more excited to be your Chancellor and to work besides all of the former, the current, and the future Mavericks. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, the state of the university is strong. It's Maverick strong. I'm forever grateful to have become a member of the University of Nebraska at Omaha family. And more than ever, ladies and gentlemen, go Mavericks.
Thank you, Chancellor Gold. We are very happy to celebrate our partners at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. I'm Dr. Cheryl Logan, Superintendent of the Omaha Public Schools. Whether UNO is welcoming our graduates for post-secondary education, guiding our staff to an advanced degree, or our favorite, preparing alumni to return as educators, the university strengthens Omaha Public Schools and our entire Omaha area. The Maverick spirit brings critical thinkers with a community focus. Those qualities are especially important as we join together during such challenging times. To the Mavericks working throughout the Omaha Public Schools, we are OPS proud of you. To Dr. Gold, your strong, steady leadership and support is deeply appreciated. Go Mavericks!